So I don't normally talk very much about this, but in addition to making a living as a musician, I'm also a qualified and practicing psychotherapist or counsellor. Now, this whole coronavirus situation brings up a number of questions, and I know that there's a lot of musicians out there who are facing serious loss of income and additional side effects from all of this. And I'd like to say a few things about that. So it's July now, and there are signs that things are beginning to open up, restrictions being lifted. But that doesn't seem to be affecting musicians at all at the moment. Weddings are still limited, that you can't have singings. Currently, as the director, you can't have singing or wind brass instruments. You can't have large gatherings. Until we can get hundreds of people together in a close space indoors, touring, theatre, pub music nights, all of that stuff is not coming back. And it's hard to see how that could happen. It's hard to see that coming back at all for the time being, until the virus has gone away completely. And that's quite uncomfortable to think about. It's quite hard to think, oh wow, there might not be any proper wedding gigs, any proper corporate gigs, any restaurant gigs, any playing in O'Neill's. There might not be any of that this year. That might not be happening for a long time. What are we going to do? And it's a serious question, and although it brings anxiety and there's a great feeling of uncertainty, I think it's really important that we do look at it, that we are honest with ourselves about the situation and start to kind of take care of ourselves and think about what it is we're going to do. A lot of musicians, I think, and I find, and I have experienced it, get caught up with our sense of identity is very tied up in being a musician, and the people that we hang around with, and the routine of that, being a bit nocturnal, that kind of thing. And for some it's easy to change, and others it's a little more difficult to feel that thing, that group, that identity has somewhat evaporated. It might feel as though we've been left behind. It certainly seems that way at the moment. Musicians are definitely going to be among the last people to go back to work. And it's not just live musicians, like studio musicians are going to find it hard for some time, I think. I am beginning to have conversations with people about socially distanced recording sessions and that kind of thing. But not only are there those restrictions in place, and they are significant, they have a significant impact in recording music, but the people who are funding it, the people who are pushing these projects forward, some of that confidence in investing in that sort of thing, we don't know how much that's going to be affected by this, and it could be quite significant, particularly if the economy doesn't recover quickly. So we face these very real issues, and I very much understand the feelings of anxiety and worry, or depression even, like feeling like it's lost, like we are lost, it is gone. Very troubling, very tricky, and I think it's important that at this point that we begin to take care of ourselves and begin to think about what it is we want to do, and be okay with, number one, not feeling great. It's understandable. It's okay to feel anxious and feel depressed and feel angry, or however this manifests itself in your mental state. It's okay to feel bad. Doesn't mean that you ought not seek help or ought not take care of yourself a little bit better, but it's a normal reaction. It's very human. On the other hand, it may be that you've got no gigs, you've got no work, and you're absolutely loving it. You're loving a change of direction, in which case, great. And I think that it is a huge opportunity for us to find things that feel good. Sometimes the profession that we had a few months ago, not always enjoyable, a lot of pressure. When's it going to end? Now is a great chance to reevaluate that for some of us. Certainly for me, I'm pushing these videos, making videos, learning about videography and photography more, and giving myself a chance to be creative with my partner, and trying to, with a view to making money from it. At some point, hopefully this channel will be monetized and I'll be able to get a little bit of income from it. I've got all this experience in recording guitars, in producing records, in mixing equipment and all of that stuff. So there's knowledge that I can share there. So this is something that I have within me. this very video, the time that I spent, training as a psychotherapist, it means that I'm able to offer something to some people that may be useful to them, and it gives me a sense of purpose. And I guess I would encourage us all to find what it is that gives us our sense of purpose, what it is that we feel close to, not as musicians or as artists or as performers, but just as people. And I wonder whether there's an opportunity for some of us to kind of hold less tightly onto this feeling of I'm a musician and I'm struggling, and maybe move towards simply being ourselves and finding something in this that gives us joy, that brings us happiness or satisfaction. I'm under no illusions. I know that some people are really up against it and having to take jobs that they don't want to do. But to those people, again, it's okay to be doing that. It's okay to take a break from music if that's what it takes for you to get through this time. Take a break, come back to it. It doesn't mean you're not a decent person, doesn't mean you're not very creative, very talented. And if you have taken on a different job, I'd love to hear how that's going for you, how it feels to be doing something that's not being a professional musician. And for those of us who are sticking it out and maybe we're relying on savings or assistance from the government or from our parents or whatever it is, how are we all doing? It's okay that this is a struggle. It's okay to reach out to people and seek help. And I would certainly encourage anybody who's feeling low, if you feel unusually anxious, or if you're feeling sort of feelings of depression or being lost or angry or like it's not worth carrying on and you don't know what to do, certainly reach out and seek professional help. Low-cost counselling is available most places. You can find local charities that, if you just Google search low-cost counselling and your town or your area, you ought to find something. So it doesn't have to cost a fortune. And now is a great time to work on ourselves. We have the time, we have it, we have the space, and to bring a routine in that really helps us as a good use of time, really important. And I would highly recommend it. I hope that everybody's doing well. Take care of yourselves. It's all right to be struggling in all of this, but don't suffer in silence. Go and seek help if that feels right. Could be friends and family, could be psychotherapy. It will be over the phone at the moment, I think, like a video call, but that doesn't mean it can't be very helpful. So don't hesitate if it's something that you're thinking you might like to do. Anyway, that's it from me. I just thought it would be nice to share some thoughts coming from the perspective of somebody who works in mental health, but also somebody who's a professional musician and severely affected by what's going on at the moment. Take care, and that's it for now.